Start of a brand new week, December 4th. December is starting to gain momentum, meaning that Christmas will soon be here, no matter if you like it or not. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of indifferent to Christmas, to the holidays myself. I am not anti-holiday by any means. They just don't have as much meaning for me any longer. I am not a Christian, although I appreciate the concept of the holy birth. I liken it myself to the birth of a higher state of consciousness within all of us that's available in any moment. So with that being the case, any moment, any day, any instant can be our Christmas, the dawning of Christ consciousness, the birth of Christ within us. I do like the solstice. I like that it is the, at once, the shortest day, shortest hours of daylight possible, and then the next day is the beginning of a length of light. So we reach that point, and from that day forward, that day onwards, every day is just a little bit longer, a little more light in each. Even just that thought does wonders for my emotional being, my state of mind. So that sort of, I think, leads me into what I've thought about talking about. I say thought, implying air quotes, because I never know where it's going to go. Depends on inspiration. It depends on if any friend pops in and we steer the conversation in a different direction. But the thought itself right now is of spiritual practice, my spiritual practice, and well-being practice. By well-being, I mean health for mind, body, and soul. So it ties in with the spiritual practice. But as you'll see, it all ties together. That I can't separate a spiritual practice from my well-being practice. They're literally one and the same. So if I were to say that my spiritual practice is waking early and meditating right from the start of my day. My first thing I do after obviously using the bathroom, being 58, that is a priority, is I'm in a yoga posture. I am in easy pose, which is my meditation posture. And I meditate. I start with my breath work in my meditation posture. I do breath of fire first thing, and then I go into meditation. The 185 is here, giving me a thumbs up and 100. Thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. And so breath work, followed by meditation, anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And from there, I do my first round of yoga, and I write. Writing is essential spiritual practice and for my well-being. You know what? If you want to consider yourself a writer, here's the one essential thing you have to do. You have to write. If you want to consider yourself an artist of any kind, you got to practice your art. I spent years, decades, considering myself a writer, and yet only putting words to a page when I felt inspired, when I felt that creative urge, which sometimes would be months apart or longer. It was only when I made it a practice that it became something more, that I could consider myself an actual writer, that I could consider myself an artist. So for me, going from meditation to yoga to writing, seamless expression, it all goes together, and it's all for my emotional, spiritual well-being, as well as that single cup of coffee that I have. I gave up coffee for some time, for a couple of different reasons. I wanted to switch to green tea, and which is, by all accounts, considered a little bit healthier. And I wanted to maximize the effects for ultra running. so that late at night when I had a cup of coffee, when I was running, the effects would be instant and deep, profound, because I wasn't used to having coffee. And it worked. But I missed coffee. I missed the taste of coffee as well. I was reading about the benefits for brain health for a limited amount of coffee. So I have 1 cup a day. And this is still mostly before the sunrise, I get up at 3 every morning. I go out and I walk in nature. Very important. Might be the single most important thing. And that's mainly what we're going to talk about. After I walk, I have my yoga, my bigger round of yoga. I do my workout and then my bigger round of yoga. I'll meditate again in the afternoon. I close out my day. Breath work is all throughout. The 185 says, yes, dude, a cup of Joe is hard to shake. It is. I did well. I went, it might have been a number of years, and only having coffee during my races and the really long races, 24-hour races, stuff like that. But I miss the taste. I miss the ritual of making a cup of coffee. It's not the same making a cup of tea. I guess it could be. Let's just face it. I missed coffee. I missed the taste. I missed everything about it. I limit myself to 1 cup a day. By all accounts, it is good for brain health. It can prevent Alzheimer's. My mother, my grandmother, and an aunt all died from complications of Alzheimer's. So it's a concern, not a concern, but something to be aware of, that if it's hereditary, then it's there. If there's things that you can do to prevent it, and all the stuff that I do actually has been shown in research to help prevent or stave off Alzheimer's, from meditation to breath work to yoga to walking to other forms of exercise, obviously my burpees. So all of that plays a role. But again, here's the thing. I think of well-being. I think of having a well-being routine, which we all should have. Not just exercise, but the things that are going to help us live with grace and ease later in life. I'm blessed that at 58, physically, I can do whatever I want. I can walk for miles. I can run for miles. I can do pull-ups, dips, push-ups, burpees. I can sit in meditation. I can do yoga. I have some aches and pains because I have a high mileage body. I've earned that. I put my body through the test time after time, through various things. But I still have my health. I have low blood pressure. My resting heart rate in the morning and the evening is in the 40s. If it goes up, if it starts creeping up towards 50, I know I'm overdoing it and I should take an easier day. So all that stuff is all the things that I do. I enjoy, absolutely love. I benefit from them, and it's all steered towards longevity. And when I say longevity, I don't necessarily mean living longer, but as my father used to say, living longer healthfully, being able to be independent and doing the stuff that you want. I have thoughts of doing another 100-mile race in my 60s, which is only 2 years away. We'll see. I have been having some back issues. Right now, I'm actually keyed up some chiropractors. I've only seen a chiropractor once, decades ago. Might be time to look into it again. So, I often talk about, or help people. What can you do? One thing. For if you had to pick just one thing to do to bring all the health benefits possible, all the spiritual benefits possible, I should probably sort of define what is a spiritual benefit, what is spiritual, but I think that means a little something different for everyone else. For me, it's being in touch with the ineffable, with the immaterial essence of the world. We can call that God. We can call that consciousness. We can call it pure awareness. Doesn't matter. Being in touch with that and living from that point with integrity, living in that awareness. It's really why I like the Douglas Harding Headless Way experiments, because it doesn't get crazy, although it sounds awful crazy to point out your own headlessness. But in doing so, what you're literally doing is pointing at your own awareness and then living from there. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to spend the rest of your life pursuing, chasing, or seeking. You point, you notice, it's an awakening, and you live your life in that continuous state of awakening. Pretty easy. Put your spiritual belief, whatever it is. So when I say spiritual belief, you just put yours in. Whatever's meaningful for you. One thing. If you could do one thing, meditation, breath work, yoga. I always say this one thing is essential, and they all are. But here it is. Walking, first thing in the morning, being in nature. You want it first thing in the morning? Walking anytime is good. Brisk walking, because we want to get some exercise, we want to get the heart rate going, we want to be breathing a little bit harder. We're going to make amends to the walking though. We don't want to just go out for a stroll. It needs to be done with intent. One of the reasons we want it first thing in the morning is we want that first light to hit the eyes. We can consider it holy light. All light is holy. It hits the eyes and it sets off a hormonal process, hormonal reaction that cascades through the day. The first time the light hits the eyes, it starts producing cortisol, norepinephrine, and other stress-related hormones, which sounds bad. Why do you want to create stress-related hormones? Because it helps you get through the day. It helps wake you up. It helps prepares you to be ready for whatever comes. You want a little bit of stress in your life. Everything grows from stress, from continents to trees, rivers, canyons. All of it grows from stress. Just the right kind. We need a little bit of stress. It's when it runs rampant through our lives. That's when we have trouble. The light hitting our eyes produces that chemical effect. Hormones are created. Those same hormones, as we progress through the day, begin to die off. In their leftover material, I hate calling it waste material. It sounds like we have this waste material running through our system, which we do. But why call it that? We can just call it the leftover material. In the leftover material of those stress hormones dying off, the body creates serotonin and melatonin, which helps calms us down and prepares us for sleep. So what we do first thing in the morning helps us sleep at night. So we get out and we walk. We get that first light. We're brisk walking, and we're going to concentrate breathing through the nose. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. The faster we walk, the more difficult that is, so slow down a little bit. Don't go so fast that you breathe in through the mouth. Concentrate on the breath coming in the nose, out the nose. Don't try to regulate it. Don't try to take big, long, deep breaths. Don't do anything but notice it. Coming in through the nose, coming out through the nose. We've just combined walking, the holy light of morning, with pranayama, breath control, breath noticing. We can consider the walking yoga because we're out in nature and it's motion, and it's yoga literally means union. It's joining us with nature. We're joined with our essential nature through nature, as nature, being nature. So, we have the walking, we have the pranayama, noticing the breath, we have the light, yoga. We're going to add one thing if you're called for it. If you have that devotional nature. But let's back up. Because nature itself has a profound effect on our health, on our stress level, on our blood pressure, on our oxygen saturation, and more. Just being in nature. We're affected by the fractal design of nature. We enter a what can only be called a spiritual zone. We relax, deeply so, just being in nature, especially in the morning. Not a whole lot of people want to get up and get out and walk that early. And then you notice in the breath, it all starts to come together. The one thing that we'll add is the mantra. A mantra is a little different than your mantra. A mantra is a vibration. You don't worry so much about its meaning as you do the actual vibration of the word. So the two can sort of be the same, but you separate them because the mantra you use only for meditation. The mantram is a force that you work with through any moment of your life. And we're going to do it with our walking. We're not going to try to coordinate it with our steps or with our breath. We're not going to try to limit our thoughts. We're not going to try to control our thoughts. We're just going to enter the mantram into our thinking, into our consciousness as we walk. A famous mantram, Gandhi used Rama throughout his entire life. He would have it play. He would go to sleep thinking the mantra. It would course through his dreams, through his being as he slept. He woke up with the mantra on his lips. When he died, when he was shot, assassinated, his last words, Rama, 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 towards his assassinator, forgiving him, using his mantra, Rama, his mantram, as a sign of forgiveness. That's the power of a holy word. So it could be any word that you consider holy in whatever sense, whatever spiritual tradition. It could be Sanskrit. It could be in Pali, the language of the Buddha. It can be in Hebrew. It could be in English. It could be a Native American word. Doesn't matter. It's a word that you find special and holy, and you use it, entering it into your consciousness so that it starts to work deep in every fiber of the body, so that we literally vibrate with the meaning of that word. I like Rama myself, and I've used it for decades. We walk, and we enter the thought, Rama, Rama. We're not chanting. We're not trying to hold only that thought. Our thoughts are going to wander. We're going to say, hey, look, a bunny rabbit, a deer, an owl, whatever. And then we just go back and we think the mantra. And then we might start thinking of the things that we have to do during the day. Absolutely fine. No need to stop. But as it starts dying out, or as you think, wow, I'm thinking so much about what's coming up for today, come back to the mantra. Simple. One thing that we do, walking, combines the essence of every spiritual practice and every sense of well-being. So one thing that I think we could all do, everyone would benefit, and the world would literally change. Because one happy person has an effect on another person. And then we have two happy people. By happy, I don't mean that wavering happiness that comes from getting something that you want or anything like that. I'm talking about a deep joy of simply being aware that you're alive, and it doesn't have to be that way. We've been given a gift. The gift of presence, the gift of awareness, the gift of simply being. When you realize what a gift that is, and the odds are so totally against you being here, beyond astronomical, and yet here we are, through no personal willpower of our own. We didn't will ourselves to be here and to be alive. We just found ourselves here. Wow, how's that for a miracle? So, with that, just that sense of joy. Everything that comes up is part of the gift, including the things that don't go our way, including the people that seem to be contrary to us for whatever reason. All of it is a gift. And when we carry that awareness of everything being a gift, it spreads. That joy spreads. The world becomes a better place. If you don't believe me, give it a try. The worst that can happen, the world becomes a better place because of your effort. So, all right, guys, let's call it a day with that. It is a little over 20 minutes. And if anyone has any questions about any of this stuff ever, let me know. Always happy to talk more about it, obviously, and always happy to answer any questions. You guys have a good day, a good start to your week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.